But the story is the tech that Devin Booker gets here for going out of bounds, trying to save the ball, hits Jalen Williams. Caruso tattletales to the ref, and then Devin Booker ends up with a tech. After the game, he had this to say.
It's going to cost him.
It's definitely something that has to be looked into. I heard Caruso tell him to call the tech, and, you know, he ended up doing it. So that's one ref. In my 11 years, I haven't called a ref out by name, but James was terrible tonight, through and through. It's bad for the sport, bad for the integrity of the sport. You know, people are going to start viewing this as a WWE, you know, if they're not held responsible.
All right, Boogie, he said it himself. In 11 years, he's never done that. So I do believe he's got some equity in the bank as far as reputation goes. Devin Booker does. What do you make of that? First of all, is it the dumbest tech you've ever seen?
No, I've been on the. I've been in.
I'm sure Boogie's seen a few that are worse.
I've been an advocate of these bullshit ass referees. So, you know, it's no fun when the rabbit got the gun. He's also been a teammate of Chris Paul when he's manipulated the game and was able to get guys technical fouls, and he wasn't speaking out against the refs then. So, you know, now you fall victim to it. You see what it feels like, and like I said, I've experienced it. I've dealt with it, and I've been speaking up about it. But do I disagree with his message? Absolutely not. I disagree with the timing of it. Like I said, once you become victim of it, you know, then you feel what that heat feels like. But like I said, when it comes to the message, I agree 100%.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. I hate that players are always held accountable, right? We're always fined. We're always reviewed. We're always put under the microscope, but the referees aren't. And again, if this was a bad call and this is a miss on James Capers, he should be held accountable for this, because that is egregious that another player I'm playing against can influence you to give me a technical foul if you didn't initially see it. Like, that is absurd. So I understand Book's frustrations here. Now, professionally calling out a referee in the postseason by name is never going to be good, and I expect a fine probably coming for him. But
he can
I think
afford it.
he's okay with that, and this series is a long shot anyways, so let me at least go down swinging and say what I feel, and at least maybe now going in back home to Game 3, we get some momentum shift and we can get some respect and calls that we deserve instead of this tattletale and, you know, technical foul that I just got. So
what's wrong with the accountability though?
That's what I'm saying. I got no problem with the. I think referees should be fined.
Call out the referees because they put a rule in place to do so.
No,
like,
I
these
agree.
referees should be held accountable.
I totally agree. I also think referees should be fined and suspended and put on notice for calls that they miss, just like we get fined for technical fouls.
I think people would probably jump on that if you put them. But Bobby, I'm going to ask you this, because the optics of this, to those of us who are not Thunder fans, isn't good, right? Like, we already are sort of walking around thinking, man, this team gets all kinds of calls, like the favorable whistle. Now you got Caruso over there telling a ref what to do, and he does it. Like, is it true that they get more benefit of the doubt than anybody else?
I mean, obviously they're at home. Obviously the home team in the playoffs probably gets should get you know, more of a whistle than the opposing team, but at the same time, I feel like the OKC does get a lot of whistles, especially Shea with he might come big shoulder you and then still get a foul, you feel me? But at the same time, you just gotta play through it. It's the playoffs. Nobody gonna feel sorry for you. You gotta go in and get a win, first to 4 wins. So I feel Devin Booker with his comments. It is low-key frustrating sometimes when players can dictate to the refs when they call things, especially when guys fall down and just lay down and hold their leg or say something, and then they go review it for a flagrant foul, and then those points are points that you can't make up, especially in tough games. You might be down 8 points, you get a technical foul, they put you down 9, that's a swing. So then you get the ball back and they make a bucket, you down 12, hit a 3, so that's a 3-4 point swing that guys can have. So I definitely I agree with his statement, but just the timing of it for sure. I don't think it's good.
You just want consistency, right? Like, you just want, like, there was a play in the game where he got the review where he kind of just did a fadeaway and Caruso kind of came forward and he hit him in the face. Then the very next play, SGA comes down and the unnatural shooting motion kind of swings through and gets the whistle. It's like, I didn't even do it as egregious as he did, and I got my N1 taken away. But then the very next play, SGA gets the same foul call by literally, he doesn't shoot like this. That's not natural. And then he gets the whistle. So I think you just want to have consistency and to know how you can play that specific night and not having to change it play by play. Because that was literally bang, bang plays, and there were two separate calls that were the same thing.
You'd think it would have been easy.
That's where
I think it is consistency, though. This is the history of the league. This is the trend of the league. Every championship team always gets the benefit of the doubt.
For real, though.
I can take it back to when the Warriors were rolling the way they were. Draymond got away with all the moving screens and different things like that. When it goes to the Miami Heat, D. Wade was able to hand check way more than any other player on the floor. The Boston Celtics, they were able to, be as physical as they wanted to. This is the history of the league. And when you're a championship team, you earn the right to the whistle. It usually goes in your favor. So until the next team steps up and wins the championship, it's going to always be in favor of the former championship team.
Yeah.
Well, I don't like it. There, I'm on the record.
I don't like it either, but that's the history.
I'm going to start with you. 18 years, first home win. They are obviously the 1 seed, and the expectation is they come out of this series, no issues. Let me ask you this. The internet's got mixed feelings about the Pistons. Some call them fraudulent. It's a very harsh word, in my opinion. But what do you say to that?
I disagree. I think they've proven all year that they were the best team in the East. Consistency matters, health matters, and they proved all that this year from start to finish. So to call them fraudulent, a fraudulent number 1 seed is just unfair to them because they did the work and they proved it all year. But I will say I believe a team like Orlando is a fraudulent 8 seed, and what I mean by that is I think they're a lot better than being an 8 seed. They dealt with a lot of injuries. They dealt with a lot of ups and downs. Players and coaches not necessarily on the same page throughout the year, and they lacked a lot of consistency. But based off their talent, based off the roster and the talent that they have within that team, I think they're a lot better than an 8 seed. So. If anything, I think they're a fraudulent 8 seed. But as far as the Pistons go, I think they did everything they were supposed to do this season. They're here for a reason. And, this is the playoffs. It's going to be ups and downs. It's going to be losses. It's going to be wins. There are 2 games in. There's 1-1. I mean, it's still a lot of life left in this series. So to base it off of 1 game, 1 loss, I think that's a bit extreme and, kind of jumping the gun. But they're absolutely here for a reason.
Yeah, I agree with Boogie. I think Orlando is not a real 8 seed. This is a team that had high expectations, that's dealt with a lot of injuries throughout the season. They've had some frustrating moments and some rumors about their head coach, and Paolo goes out, and Franz Wagner goes out, Jalen Suggs goes out. They've had a lot of stuff happen to them, and now they're starting to play pretty good basketball, and they showed that in that last game of the play-in. But this is going to be a long series. Look across the league right now. You got Portland, San Antonio's tied up.
Yeah.
Philly goes and gets one in Boston. Like, the league is talented, and there's not going to be... It's not easy to sweep. Like, it's not easy just to have quick series, as we're learning. So last night Orlando struggled. You're not going to win many games scoring 83 points, shooting 32% from the field goal. That has a lot to do with them not making a lot of outside shots. It also has a lot to do with Detroit's defense and the way they physically, defend you and make it really difficult for you. So again, they're going to be better. I think now with just getting 1 in Detroit was a huge sign for them. Now they get to go back home. And who can happen? Anything can happen. So this is going to be a long series. But again, like Boogie said, this isn't a real 8 seed. Like, this is a tough 8 seed.
They are
Detroit.
confusing. Bobby, I think that this Orlando team is so. I really don't know when I sit down at night what version I'm going to get. Do they have the game 1 team still in them?
To me personally, I just think that the play-in tournament kind of does that to teams, right? I was a part of being a 1 seed, and we got a bad draw of the Miami Heat, and they were rolling, and they came in from a play-in situation. They played games. We was the number 1 team. We had to sit out 7-8 days before we played another game. You feel me? And then they came in just rolling. Sometimes you get those bad draws, but I don't think this is a bad draw for them. I just think that, they'll get past this series, but later on in the next series, I think they'll miss just a secondary scorer other than Cade. I feel like the ball's in his hands a lot, sticks with him. Obviously, he's a great player, first team, all-NBA type player, MVP caliber guy. But I still think you need that secondary option. They should have got like a C.J. McCollum next to him. I think that kind of would have fit real perfect with him on the side of him. Somebody that can just give him just a relief, you know what I'm saying? Get off the ball a little bit and then get it back to him when he need it.
Yeah, I think that's always going to be the question with Detroit, right? Like Cade Cunningham, we know how good he is. Jalen Duren, he's made this jump. He's probably going to be most improved player, but he's not the go and play through a guy. He's not that real second option. He's unbelievable. He's a man-child. He does a lot of things that this team needs. But he's, Bobby's right. They don't have that C.J. McCollum. They don't have that secondary kind of guard scorer that can go and relieve some pressure off Cade Cunningham and make it easier for him. Let him play off the ball a little bit. And a lot of these other teams in the playoffs, they do. They have 1, 2, 3, 4 different options where they can hurt you. Also, last night, Detroit left a lot of points on the board. They shot 58% from the free throw line. They had 23.
I'll say that again?
58% from the free throw line. They also had 23 turnovers, and Cade Cunningham had 7 of them. So they shot themselves in the foot a lot and still were able to win this game easily.
Free throws, 58%.
3 points, Beach.
They are literally 3 points. That is shameful. You know what? You faced this Detroit team 3 times this season. They are one of the more physical teams in the league. Are they frustrating? Like, how do you deal with that?
I wouldn't say frustrating. I just think that in the league, when you have a certain style of play that you come with every night, and everybody knows you play this certain type of way. Like Miami, they play a certain type of way. Toronto, back 5-6 years ago, they played a certain type of way. The Warriors, they play a certain type of way. Like when you have a certain style of play that you play, I think the refs kind of let you get away with a little more hand check. You know what I'm saying? Being a little more physical out there on the court. Obviously, they're not really calling many fouls on Detroit. They fouling like crazy out there, in my opinion. But, you know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? They let them get away with a whole lot of rough housing. But they get into it though for sure. You know what I'm saying? They impose their will on you, which the refs let them do that. Yeah.
I think as a fan, even if you're not a Pistons fan, you sort of watch Isaiah Stewart and you're like, oh, that's fun. That's old school, and You've gotten into it with him. I mean, I don't know why we wouldn't play video of that, by the way. If they were to let you two just go and be you, how does this end?
Oh, I'd be front row.
Yeah, we would have got suspended for life.
Suspended for life.
They would have kicked us out of the league. Adam Silver don't want to go no for that. He put that fist on me right there. I grabbed it.
That is so close to your face.
Honestly, if there's one fight I'd like to see in the NBA, it's probably these two.
That's the one. I'm paying for this.
That would be awesome.
A pay-per-view, man.
Yeah,
Canelo and
Jake
Crawford.
Paul fight.
Canelo and Crawford.
Good one, Jake Paul card.
By the way, do you actually dislike each other, or is this just strictly game stuff?
Nah, I don't think he really liked me now. Nah, for real, I don't think he really liked me now, for real. First, we used to go at it and do things. He's, free throw line